There is exactly one interesting thing about Squid Game, something so interesting it makes an otherwise dragged out theatrical candy wrap narrative totally watchable. I'm of course talking about the single best thing to happen to Netflix since Beth Harmon. It's Squid Game's The Frontman. The Frontman is not just a good character in a sea of hollow shells pretending to be people. He's what happens when the pawn becomes the player, when the rat who escaped the maze comes back to redesign it. He got his money, he got his freedom, and then chose to return, not as a contestant, but as the architect of other people's suffering. Kind of like Westworld's The Man in Black, the Frontman experienced his respective game as a participant and became obsessed with it. But while The Man in Black is driven by a desperate search for deeper meaning, the Frontman's obsession with black irony manifests in a desire to perfect the system's cruelty. This obsession is perhaps most evident in his redesigning of the voting process. While Season 1 offered a single chance to end the games after the first round, Season 2 places the double-edged sword of democracy between each game. By forcing the players to actively choose to continue after witnessing each new horror, he makes them even more complicit in their own destruction.
이 목숨 중요한 줄 알고 다들 이제 여기서 나갑시다.
여기 우승한 사람도 있는데 뭐가 걱정이야? 해봅시다.
He pushes this philosophy to its extreme by returning as player 001, mimicking Il-Nam's deception from Season 1. His alliance with Guillaume creates a moment of cognitive dissonance as we find ourselves cheering for the Dungeon Master, who we, unlike Il-Nam, know is the bad guy from the start.
대의를 위해서 작은 희생은 감수하자는 건가요?
And to cap it off, he goes along with Guillaume's plan of taking the weapons off of the workers and mowing them down, his own employees. It makes sense in a way because he takes on the role as a player, and with his diabolical mindset, he would likely argue that the pink workers deserve to die for their sloppy work. The real question is, does he even care?
I think not!
Season 2 also gives us a closer look behind the scenes, and we realize that the pink workers are being used and abused just as much as the players. By creating this twisted order to the game, the Frontman essentially recreates the infamous Stanford prison experiment. And by tying the vote on whether to leave the game or keep playing, he ensures the tribal rivalry that arises between Team Stay and Team Leave. While this escalates well out of realistic proportions, the point is that under the right circumstances, anyone can become the villain. The most pivotal moment in the Frontman's transformation should have been his confrontation with his brother Juno in Season 1. Both were police officers sworn to protect justice, but where Juno clings to conventional morality, the Frontman has embraced a darker philosophy. The moment he pulls the trigger should represent the ultimate expression of his new worldview, a rejection of not just his brother, but his entire former identity and value system.
What you say?
Instead, the show undermines this powerful arc by hedging its bets, by leaving Juno's fate ambiguous, if painfully predictable, and ultimately bringing him back. We lose what could have been the Frontman's point of no return. By actually killing the brother, on the other hand, the Frontman would have become something far more terrifying, as the mask he wears stops being a disguise and becomes his true face, the face of someone who looked on both sides of the coin and chose the dark side.
I choose violence.
Now, what's even more frustrating is how Season 2 undermines the Frontman's potential in its finale. After creating genuine moments of alliance with main protagonist Guillaume that forces us to question our own complicity in rooting for him, the show pulls its punches once more. By having him suddenly abandon this carefully crafted relationship, they squander the opportunity to blow Guillaume's mind by revealing that his closest ally was in fact his worst enemy this whole time.
We're not so different, you and I.
This moment could have been the ultimate expression of the Frontman's philosophy. In Guillaume's horrified realization, viewers could have seen the dark truths the Frontman discovered himself as a player. That when pushed to their limits, people will not only participate in evil, but they'll rationalize it as necessary. The perfect validation of his journey, his philosophy, and the systems he built. I'll be honest with you, for me, the frontman was so criminally underused in season 1, so obviously scooped out and saved for season 2 that I got mad. So mad, in fact, that I started to develop my own story, which turned into a book project, which is now turning into a trilogy, where this sort of victim to oppressor arc is properly explored, but more on that another time. I'm glad Squid Game generally turned things around in season 2, despite the terribly abrupt ending. And I don't think I'm the only one who's positively surprised. But hey, that's just like one opinion, bro. What do you think makes the frontman so compelling? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this analysis, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow, and join the Discord channel if you haven't already. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.